On June 15, 2026, guards returned to open ground in County Wicklow, close to the Wicklow and Kildare border. This was not a normal appeal. This was not another anniversary statement. This was a search operation. The area had already been examined by the defense forces through a technical ground survey. Now guards said the land would be searched, excavated, and forensically examined over the coming days, and the names attached to the search were two of the most haunting names in modern Irish crime: Jo and Jacob. Two young women, two different disappearances, two families left waiting for decades. Jo vanished in 1995 while trying to get home from Dublin to Kilkenny. Jacob vanished in 1998, just minutes from her family home in Newbridge. For years, their cases were spoken about separately, but now in 2026, the same search operation has brought their names together again. The question is not just what guards hope to find in that ground. The question is why this location matters now. And to understand that, we have to go back to the night Jo made one final phone call. Josephine was known as Jojo. She was 21 years old when she disappeared. She came from County Kilkenny, and by November 1995, she was trying to move forward with her life. Guards later said she was due to begin a new job, and on the day she vanished, she had traveled to Dublin. Jacob was 18. She was from Roseberry, near Newbridge, County Kildare. She had completed her first year of teacher training at St. Mary's College in Strawberry Hill, London. She was home for the summer, preparing to return to college. This detail mattered because both women were not lost in chaotic circumstances. Jojo was making a journey home. Jacob was walking a familiar route near her own house. In both cases, the distance between normal life and disappearance was painfully short. Jojo's case began with missed transport and a desperate plan to get back to Kilkenny. Jacob's case began with ordinary errands in Newbridge town. And in both stories, the final confirmed moments were so specific that investigators would return to them again and again. Because sometimes in a missing person case, the last normal movement becomes the most important clue. On November 9, 1995, Jojo traveled to Dublin. Guards said she spent the evening in Broxel Bar on Harry Street, near Grafton Street. That night, she missed her last bus home to Kilkenny. Instead, she boarded a bus to Naas, County Kildare. From there, her plan was to hitchhike the rest of the way to Cullen, County Kilkenny. She got a left from Naas to the slip road on the M9 motorway at Kilkenny. At about 11:15 that night, she got another left to Moon, County Kildare. Then came the final known contact. At 11:37 that night, Jojo called her friend Mary Cullinan from Moon. During that call, Jojo said a car had stopped for her and she was going to take the left. That was the last known interaction with Jojo. The next morning, her sister Kathleen reported her missing. Jacob's final day was different, but just as clear in parts. On July 28, 1998, Jacob walked into Newbridge town. She was getting a bank draft to send to a college friend in London for a rent deposit. Guards said she went to the bank, then the post office, then visited her grandmother at the shop. After that, she headed home toward Roseberry, just outside Newbridge. She was last seen shortly after 3 in the afternoon near the gate of her family home. After that, there was no confirmed trace. One woman vanished after saying a car had stopped. The other vanished in daylight almost home. And those two final routes would become the foundation of 2 long investigations. In Jojo's case, the first major clue was the phone call. It gave investigators a precise time. It gave them a place. It gave them one critical detail. A car had stopped. But the call did not identify the driver. It did not identify the vehicle. It did not explain where Jojo knew the person. trusted the person or simply accepted the lift because she needed to get home. Guards later appealed for anyone who met JoJo after 11:37 that night to come forward. They also focused on an item she had with her. JoJo was carrying a stunning stereo cassette player, model MGP21. Guards asked whether anyone saw it after her disappearance, or whether anyone received a similar cassette player from someone who could not explain where it came from. In Jacob's case, the clues were different. Her last known route was familiar. Her clothing was known. Guards described her as wearing a navy V-neck t-shirt with white trim, dark navy jean, and blue Nike runners. She also carried a distinctive black satchel-style bag with long shoulder straps and the word "cat" in large yellow capital letters on the side. That bag has never been located. That is important because in a disappearance, a missing bag is not just a personal item. It can be a movement clue. It can show whether someone left voluntarily, whether belongings were removed, or whether evidence was taken from the scene. But in both cases, the same problem appeared early. There was no confirmed recovery, no confirmed body, no confirmed final location, and without that, guards had to build investigation around fragments. JoJo's disappearance became the subject of a sustained guards investigation based at Nass Guard Station. Years passed, leads come and went. The case was reviewed by the Serious Crime Review Team, part of the National Bureau of Criminal Investigation. Then in November 2020, on the 25th anniversary of JoJo's disappearance, guards confirmed that the case was now classified as a murder investigation. They said they were satisfied that serious harm came to JoJo on or about the night of November 9, 1995. That reclassification mattered. It changed the way the case could be investigated. It allowed the cold case review to move with a different focus, not only asking where JoJo had gone, but who had caused her disappearance. Jacob's case was reclassified earlier. In August 2018, after a detailed review and new information, guards reclassified Jacob's disappearance from a missing person investigation to a murder investigation. An incident room was set up at Kildare Guard Station. The Serious Crime Review Team supported the investigation. Guards said they were following a number of lines of inquiry. By that point, Jacob had been missing for 20 years. JoJo had been missing for nearly 25. And both cases were now being treated not as simple disappearances, but as suspected killing. That is why the 2026 search is so important, because it is not just a search for memory, it is a search inside two active murder investigations. At first, JoJo and Jacob seem like different cases. JoJo disappeared late at night while traveling home. Jacob disappeared in the afternoon near her home. JoJo's final known moments involved a car that stopped for her. Jacob's final moments involved a walk back from Newbridge town. But the cases become part of a wider public fear in Ireland, the Vanishing Triangle. That phrase has been used to describe a series of disappearances and attacks involving women in Eastern Ireland across the late 1980s and 1990s. Not every case in that group is officially connected. Not every case has the same facts, but the public fear came from the pattern. Young women vanishing, many in places that should have been familiar, and many cases remaining unresolved. JoJo and Jacob become two of the most discussed names in that wider story. The strange detail now is the search location. The 2026 operation is on open ground in County Wicklow, near the Wicklow and Kildare border. It is not the place where JoJo was last heard from. It is not the place where Jacob was last seen, but it sits within the wider geography that has long mattered in these investigations. And guards did not announce a casual search. They announced a technical ground survey, excavation, forensic examination, and support from specialist units. That means investigators believe the land deserves serious attention. The question is whether the land holds evidence from one case, both cases, or neither. At the center of the 2026 update is the search operation itself. Guards said the operation is being led by the Serious Crime Review Team from the Guards National Bureau of Criminal Investigation, working with guards from the Kildare and Carlow Division. They are supported by the Guards National Technical Bureau and the Wicklow Guards Division. That tells us this is not a symbolic move. It is a structured forensic search. Public reporting has also linked the wider search activity in this area to information reviewed by investigators, including information connected in media reports to convict rapist Larry Murphy. This must be said carefully. Larry Murphy has not been charged with the murder of Jo and Jacob. Media reports have described him as a long-standing suspect or person of interest in relation to Jacob case, and the reporting has connected his name to information around searches in the Wicklow and Kildare border area. But suspicion is not proof. A media link lead is not a conviction, and an excavation does not mean evidence has already been found. In Jo's case, a man was arrested in 2024 in connection with her murder, investigation, and was later released without charge. No person had been brought to justice for Jo's murder. No person has been convicted in Jacob's case. That is why this search matters so much. It could confirm a lead, it could rule out a location, or it could give both families another painful answer that the ground still has nothing to give. The confirmed evidence is limited, but important. Jo was last known to be alive in Moon after making a phone call at 11:37 at night. She said the car had stopped and she was going to take the left. Jacob was last seen shortly after 3 in the afternoon near the gate of her family home in Rosebery, Newbridge. Jo cassette player has never been publicly confirmed as found. Jacob's distinctive cat satchel bag has never been located. Both cases were later reclassified as murder investigation. Both cases are now connected to a 2026 search operation on an open ground in County Wicklow near the Wicklow and Kildare border. One possible theory is that the current search is not based on broad connection between the two women, but on a location-based lead. In other words, investigators may not be saying the same person was responsible for both disappearances. They may be testing whether one piece of land was used, visited, discussed, or identified in information connected to one or both cases. This theory fits the confirmed facts because guards are not simply repeating an appeal. They are excavating and carrying out forensic examination after a technical ground survey. That level of work usually suggests a specific reason to search a specific place. But the problem with this theory is simple. The public does not know what exact information lead guards back to that ground. We do not know whether the lead is new information, re-examined old information, or a combination of both. For this theory to become stronger, an investigator would need to recover something that can be forensically linked to Jo and Jacob, a suspect, a vehicle, or a specific timeline. Until then, the search is important, but it is not an answer. As for June 15, 2026, Jo and Jacob remain missing. Both cases are being investigated as murder cases. Guards have said Jo family and Jacob family are being kept updated and have been fully appraised of the latest developments. That detail matter. For families in cold cases, searches bring hope, but also fear. Every dig could be the one that finally brings an answer. Every search can also end without public results. Guards have appealed for anyone with information, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem, to contact Kildare Guard Station, any guard station, or the Guard confidential line. That appeal is not just a formality. In cases this old, one small piece or withheld information can become critical. A car seen in the wrong place, a conversation overheard years ago, a personal item passed from one person to another, a memory someone dismissed because it did not feel important at the time. The official outcome is clear. No one has been convicted. No one has been publicly proven responsible. And the search near the Wicklow and Kildare border is now one of the most significant active developments in these two investigations. The ground is being opened again, but the truth is still buried somewhere between the confirmed facts and the missing evidence.